achievement.
This was a historic occasion for Maidstone United Football Club, for our group of players, our supporters, but more so for our community.
To tonight's live commentary then, right here on talkSPORT.
Kieran Trippier to take the corner, right-footed, fired in with pace. Bowman's initial effort was saved, and it's bundled over the line from close range for two.
Jim Proudfoot there describing Dan Burns' goal, rubber-stamping Newcastle's place in the fifth round with a 2-0 win against Fulham. Brighton, Leicester and Luton also got through to the next round earlier today. Angola are through to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations after a 3-0 win against Namibia. They'll face either Nigeria or Cameroon there, with the Super Eagles a short time ago leading 1-0 at half-time in tonight's fixture. Ollie Pope's unbeaten 148 has given England's cricketers a chance of winning the first test with India after day 3 in Hyderabad. Ben Stokes' side closed on 316 for 6 in their second innings. That's a lead of 126 runs. England bowled India out for 436 earlier this morning. And teenage darting sensation Luke Littler has beaten Luke Humphreys 6-5 at the Dutch Masters in a repeat of the World Darts Championship final. Littler's hoping for back-to-back wins, having won the Bahrain Masters last week.
talkSPORT News.
The Foreign Office says it's appalled by allegations that some UN aid workers in Gaza were involved in Hamas attacks against Israel in October. And a major incident's been declared in Liverpool city centre after a huge fire broke out at a high-rise building there this afternoon.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep your car safe this winter. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com for tyres, MOTs and batteries, so you can drive away happy every time.
Dry and clear for most areas tonight, but windy with light rain possible in the northwest.
Online, DAB digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
The fight starts now.
With Adam Catterall.
I don't think he's going to get up.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Sweet baby Jesus and the orphans, we are here. It is Saturday night, it is Fight Night, it is the biggest and best fight sports show across radio worldwide. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure to be in your company and a pleasure to be in the company of the main man himself, former European bantamweight champion, the one, the only, Oman Spencer Oliver. We've got an action-packed show. The guest list is jam full. Johnny Fisher's going to be joining us live from Las Vegas. In the studio, Dr. Mark Prince OBE is going to be here, talking all things light heavyweight. Dalton Smith's managed to snaffle himself a monster fight. That's taking place in Sheffield. He's going to be on the show talking about it a little bit later on. Sam Jones and Jack Catterall together, also on the programme. Terry Harper stepping down in weight to challenge for a World Championship belt. She's going to be on the show. And we're also going to be getting stuck into the heavyweight situation too. We'll keep you across everything that's going on in Belfast right now, as Siobhan Clark and Tommy McCarthy are in the ring as we speak. And Lewis Crocker will be fighting a little bit later on against Jose Felix. We'll also give you a preview of what's going on in Phoenix, Arizona later on as John Ryder steps up to take on Jaime Munguia. Told you it was action-packed. We're also streaming live on YouTube, so if you prefer to look at our beautiful faces, you're more than welcome to do so on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. We are not playing games tonight, let me tell you. Spenny, how are you?
Very well, Adam. Very well, mate. We are going big.
Monster tonight. I'm going to keep you across everything that's going on in Belfast. Fantastic victory a moment or two ago for Paddy Donovan. He really does look like a proper prospect, him, doesn't he, coming through under the tutelage of Andy Lee. Great win for him against a tough South American tonight. Good victory. And the Cruisers are currently going at it. Clark versus McCarthy. We'll keep you across that as well before Lewis Crocker hits the ring. Shall we start with heavyweights? Seeing as that everybody seems to be talking about heavyweights at the moment, don't they? We've got some big fights coming up. February, of course, it is the undisputed heavyweight championship fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. First one in the best part of 25 years, which is ridiculous, we know, but we're getting it. And we're getting it in February. And then, of course, Anthony Joshua back in action in March, taking on Francis Ngannou. I saw clips. I haven't seen the full thing this week, but I've seen clips of those sit-downs that they do. Like the gloves are off type scenarios where you have a presenter sat in the middle of two fighters and you poke them a little bit, you say a little bit of this and say a little bit of that and see if you can get them going. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk this week going at it. Did you catch it yourself?
Yeah, I did.
What did you make of it?
Mr. Steve Bunce was that guy that was trying to prod the fire, but you haven't really got to do that with Tyson Fury, have you? Like, you haven't really got to give him too much. You know, the insult started straight away about the earrings, etc., etc. Alexander Usyk's a cool cat, though. You know, he took it in his stride. He knows what he was going into. I mean, Fury did throw a few compliments his way as well, but it was what I expected, if I'm totally honest. Tyson Fury, he tries to get in his opponent's head, doesn't he? And that's what he's doing now. That's what he's all about.
For those that haven't heard it, have a listen to this. This is Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, sitting down with Steve Bunce, as Spencer's just spoken about there. Having a little bit of a face-off before they throw down in February.
It's our destiny now to go on and fight for the championship. Nobody else was chosen in all the 24 years. Many heavyweight champions before you, before me, before us. But they didn't have the opportunity to fight for the undisputed championship for one reason or the other.
Of course.
So all we've got to do now is dance, and I look forward to the challenge.
Do you think at some point in the future, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, with grandchildren, do you think you'll all get together?
Honestly, speaking honestly to God, I don't have any rivalry with Alexander. No hatred. No, there's no rivalry.
It's just business.
Just business for me. Go in there, do me thing, he's going to do his thing, and that's it. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. He's a likeable character. I've got nothing bad to say about him. But it's unfortunate for Alexander that he's got to fight Tyson Fury in my era. A man who wears an earring in his ear can never beat Tyson Fury, ever.
You understand that?
Yes. Not a chance. No one who wears earrings can beat me.
Я можу пояснити, що це таке. It's Ukrainian warrior, козак. Це ті люди, які боронили мою країну багато років від ворога. Тут тільки підтвердження мого козацького роду. Вони нікому не програвали. Тут нема красоти чи моди.
Listen, in Ukraine, it means he's a good fighting man for him. But where I'm from, it means he's a an earring in. That's just the way I cut it.
No.
I don't know what an earring's got to do with anything when these guys throw down on February, but as you alluded to a moment or two ago, it's about mind games. It's about getting into the head of your opponent. I don't think you can get into the head of Alexander Usyk. This man has been there, done it, got the T-shirt. He's achieved an amazing amount in the game of boxing, whether it be amateur or professional. And he gets the opportunity to become a real all-time great. I actually think, looking at this fight, and I don't know where you're at with it, Alexander Usyk's legacy is solidified. I mean, he could obviously add to it. You become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in this era. You can absolutely add to it. But I think his legacy is absolutely solidified. I think there's more on the line for Tyson going into this fight, because this is the fight that solidifies him as the person of this era, because there is a question.
No, absolutely. You know, I think that the best have to box the best in a modern era to cement legacies. And like you say, Alexander Usyk in many ways has sort of done that as the undisputed cruiserweight champion, stepping up, becoming unified world heavyweight champion, looking to become undisputed champion. I mean, you go back to 1999, you know, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, that's the last undisputed champion. You know, that's when
how amazing is it that it is a former cruiserweight undisputed champion as well, way back then?
Absolutely.
And we're here again.
And there was big question marks over Evander Holyfield, wasn't there? Would he be able to step up? Yes, he was a great cruiserweight, but would he be able to compete with the big guys? You know, with like Big Daddy Bo, you know, huge heavyweight at that time, and he had, you know, an unbelievable trilogy with him. You know, he goes down as an all-time great. Alexander Usyk is filling those shoes. Yeah. That is what he's doing, and I mean, Tyson Fury was a big favourite for me going into this contest before his last fight. And you can only go on last fights, and he put in a below-par performance. I don't expect that again, by the way. No. I expect to see something totally different. But it's an interesting fight. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic fight, because what you've got is two sensational technicians. And the one has got size, and reach over the other guy. And the other one's probably a little bit more mobile given the state of play where we're at right now. Tyson Fury's changed his game a little bit. Since he stepped in with Wilder, he's changed his game a touch, hasn't he? And I think the more elusive, the guy with the more lateral movement is Alexander Usyk. Can he stay away for 12 rounds? Well, and can he deliver what he needs to deliver? It's going to be a really fascinating fight in February.
Well, listen, he done it against Anthony Joshua. You know, he moved for 12 rounds. And Joshua said, look, when we got to 10... he knew it was all quite level. He said, but then he just went up another gear. Usyk, he said, that's what he does. He's got his engine's incredible. So I expect that he will be able to move like that. And it's all about Tyson Fury is the guy that's adapted his style because he was a guy that used to box on his back foot, moving around and whatnot. And as you get older, like Floyd Mayweather did, you know, they have to adapt and sort of like, because the legs do slow down a little bit, but great fighters can adapt and they can adjust and still, you know, still box the way they do. Like Tyson Fury has changed over the last few years. Like when he boxed Vladimir Klitschko, he boxed on the back foot. He won that title on the back foot. He out-hustled him. And now you see, you know, more recently against Deontay Wilder, he's a guy that likes to stand there, trade, sit in the pocket. So he does it all, you know. He does, you know, and it's going to be exciting to see if he can wear Usyk down. Can Usyk stay away from him 12 rounds? It's a fascinating fight.
It is. And there's a lot of other little things that spin off from this fight. We're led to believe that it's a 2-fight deal with rematch clauses and all sorts of things connected to it. But then when you listen to Turki Al-Sheikh and the way that he speaks, no, man, this is you two, winner of that. He's going to be fighting the winner of this, which is music to my ears. And we're going to get into that in the next hour of the show. Now, if you've got a thought on that and on how Saudi Arabian involvement, especially in the heavyweight scene, is really bringing what the fans actually want to see and have been demanding for such a long period of time, do get in contact with the show, 03717 223344. Quick one from Belfast. Chevron Clark has just stopped Tommy McCarthy in, it looked like the 4th round. I'll get a clarification on the round, but he was absolutely devastating. Looked even through 2. Chevron Clark came through and has just stopped Tommy McCarthy. So we'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on over there. We're going to Las Vegas next because Johnny Fisher is out there. He's fighting next weekend, but he's going to come and join us on the show and give us a little bit of update of how the camp has been going. Don't go anywhere.
Sunday afternoon, the FA Cup live
on talkSPORT.
He's gone straight in!
Newport versus Manchester United. Kick-off 4:30.
Fabulous stuff.
Sunday afternoon
On Live Football Dynamo.
talkSPORT. Fight Night with Adam Catterall on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up higher. There's 1,000 pretty women waiting out there. They're all living the devil may care, and I'm just a devil.
Let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride.
Viva
There you go.
Las Vegas.
There you go. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. You can also watch us on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel as our guests come in thick and fast tonight. Hopefully, a lot of them are going to be FaceTime zoomed, so you'll be able to see them as they speak to you. We're getting a few bits of correspondence as well from people listening to the show. Are you going to be speaking about Jonas versus Maya last weekend? Yes, we are. We are going to talk about scorecards. Yes, we are. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, and we're going to be asking, where's the official publication of the judges' scorecards from last weekend? That's coming up a little bit later on the show, so do keep with us and keep your correspondence coming in on 03717 223344. The reason why we're playing Las Vegas music is because our next guest is going to be... Well, he's in Las Vegas right now, and he's going to be fighting at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas next weekend. Long gone are the days where he up sticks, went out there for a little bit of sparring, and now he's actually on a card fighting in Las Vegas. The dream. Every fighter's dream as a youngster growing up, isn't it, Spence?
Absolutely. Listen, you only get out what you put in this game, and Johnny Fisher is a grafter, you know, and he deserves to be where he's at right now, you know, 10-0, 9 KOs, exciting heavyweight, and yeah, showcasing his skills over there in Vegas is every kid's dream, man.
Johnny, welcome to the show, my man. How are you?
Hello, Adam. Hello, Spence. Great to speak to you both again.
How you going, John?
Yeah, good.
Excellent. Listen, obviously out in Las Vegas, you've been out there for a little bit of time. How was the build-up towards next weekend been for you? And listen, we know it's a tempting city. We know you're incredibly well disciplined. Have you managed to keep your dad away from the strip, mate, and the bright lights?
Well, yeah, it's been great, mate. It's been great. My dad was over here for a week during camp, and he's always on it anyway. There's no Chinese restaurants to note of really in Las Vegas, so it's been quite well behaved. But it's been good, mate. I've been training in Salas's gym with the Cubans and adding a bit of that into the armory. And Mark's here now, and Sonny's been here for a good few weeks as well. So my team's been with me, and it's been a good experience to train away from home and add a little bit more to my game.
Talk about the journey, mate, because 3 years ago, obviously working. Selling produce off the back of a van, and now you're fighting on a card in Las Vegas.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I remember when I was out here the first time, I was at university finishing my degree. During that time of COVID, it was all a bit up in the air, and it feels surreal. But I don't let it get. I don't think about it too much because I know on Saturday I've got to go in there and have a fight, and it would be the same as if I was fighting in England. If I was fighting somewhere, York Hall, Wembley Arena, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be a fight, and yeah, I've just got to keep disciplined, as Spencer said, to my goal and to what I've got to do, and that's to win.
I mean, Johnny, explain to our listeners, mate, just what a big deal this is. Boxing out in Las Vegas is every kid's dream, you know. That's where we want to go. You know, when you're a young kid and you're dreaming of becoming a boxer, it's not about even winning world titles. It's about boxing out in Las Vegas, and this is a big moment for you.
Massive. It's a massive moment, and my supporters, and we spoke about it since the beginning of my career, when we're going to get an away day out in Vegas or somewhere abroad, and I'm bringing about 150 of my friends and family out with me, so they're all booked into the Plaza Hotel in Las Vegas where I'm staying now. So we're going to have a great little army over there, and I'm very, very grateful for that support, because we've all spoke about it for a long time, and now it's time to actually do it.
I know that you obviously you're behaving yourself for now. You can enjoy yourself once the fight's done next weekend. But I'm led to believe that you were in a Western bar or some type of rodeo bar last night where there was a mechanical bull in there. So the big question is, did the Romford bull get on the mechanical bull? And how long did you stay on for it for, mate?
I'm sure after the fight I'll be getting on there. I haven't got on there yet, but I'm thinking about all the other boss soldiers and the Bull Army members. We've all got a lot of blokes over 25, 30 stone. and whether that ball can stand up to the weight. Seeing Big John on that's going to be a sight to see as well. So I'm excited. It's a good little Western bar. We just went there for a little bit of relaxation time, and yeah, we're on the game. Don't worry.
You talk about the training. Obviously, you've been working with Ismail Salas. I know that you've been in the top-ranked gym as well. I know you've been using the facilities, the PI, the UFC PI. Talk to me about that change of environment, how inspiring that is to, like as you said, the top-class sparring that you're in and around with the Cuban fighters.
Yeah, I think it's been great, and I do notice a difference. I've trained at home. I'm very comfortable where I train in Raynham, in the Origin gym, and that's great to be comfortable and have a routine. But sometimes it's good to take yourself away from your comfort zone and be a little bit under pressure with new coaches and a slightly different style. And the sparring out here, I've sparred Michael Hunter. I sparred a guy called Ardi, who's in the Southern African champion as well, and he was very tough. So they've got all a bit of a point to prove over here when the English bloke's coming over to America, and it's a bit more of doghouse rules when it comes to sparring, which is good. It gets me out of my comfort zone, and I'm excited to put all that good work to use.
I mean, what's the roadmap now for Johnny Fisher, like over the next 12, 24 months? You know, like you've built up a great record, 10-0, 9 KOs. Yeah. Now you've gone to Vegas. Where are you going, Johnny? I mean, when are we going to see you, in there fighting for titles, etc.? I mean, the British heavyweight scene at the moment is on fire, and you're right in the mix.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We've got so many good young heavyweights coming through. We've got people all down the levels, from top of the level. You look at Fury and Joshua, and all the way down. We've got great names, and for me, it's always been the case of one fight at a time. I don't like to give that boring answer, but it is. But we've got talks with. I spoke to Eddie in December time. We'd love to fight headline a show in England at some point over the next few months, maybe the next one. Royal Albert Hall. That's what we've been talking about, and what a historic venue that is. And I think that's next on the menu. But listen, I don't look beyond what I've got to do. I've got to do a job in Las Vegas, but that's what we're going to be coming back to, which would be great.
The beautiful thing, listen, and this is obviously not for you to do. You've just got to go and take care of business. But for clowns like me in the media, we get to create narratives and look at yardsticks. So next weekend, obviously, you're taking on Dimitri or Bezos. Now, we are obviously, as British fight fans, we're familiar with him because he's been in with David Adelaide. That was his last fight, and obviously up until that point he was undefeated, going really, really well. He ran into Adelaide, so I'm anticipating Bezos to come wanting to get back on the train next weekend and have a proper good go at you. But for us, we look at that's a wonderful yardstick, and maybe the potential for us to start that narrative of these other British heavyweights, the likes of David Adelaide, Johnny Fisher, to be matched up. We know that obviously there's this big matchroom Queensbury thing. You see where I'm going here, Johnny, don't you? You see where I'm going? Yeah. There's this matchroom Queensbury thing coming up down the line. Maybe we end up getting that on that card. Who knows?
Well, eventually I'm going to have to fight. If you want to get on and be the best, you've got to fight everyone. So listen, if it's right, if it makes sense, I'll fight anyone on the day. So it's no issue for me. And I'm in a position now, as you said, I'm 10 fights in. Maybe you get you get another 5 fights under your belt. You're open to absolutely anyone at any time. And if the price is right, of course, as a boxer, as a professional sportsman, any option will be available. So I'm in a position now where I'm confident, I'm growing. I've got a bit of experience under my belt. Still got a lot more to go, but it's all going in the right direction,
Yeah, it's always healthy, John, isn't it, when you've got other dance partners, and the British heavyweight scene right now is good. You've got Wardley and Clark. I think they're talking about that fight happening for that British title. But you have put yourself right in that mix there. And, it's a great yardstick here to see, going with this opponent who boxed David Adelaide and did, Adelaide done the job in 2 rounds. But you don't try and beat that. You stick to what you're doing, right? You've got your game plan. You go out there and it's just about impressing.
Yeah, listen, my style is always going to be exciting no matter what happens. So I'm not in the business of comparing myself to others under no imagination. I know I'm going to deliver an exciting fight no matter what happens. And it's not about comparing to how other people have done the job. I've got to beat Dimitri Bezos, who's 6'7". He's won 10 out of his 11 fights. He's got 5 knockouts. That's all I've got to worry about. And if I start thinking about, how's this person done, or how's this person going to do against him, that's the wrong mindset. All I've got to do is put my hands on him and get him out of there. That's the plan.
I love that.
Johnny, I've got to ask you, mate. Do you get time after your fight to spend a bit of time out in Vegas with the Bull Army Bosch soldiers? You got any of that time?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've already said, me and Sonny, my strength coach, we've seen a donut shop in the hotel. I'm going to have about 24 donuts after this. But I've got about 36 hours in Vegas. We leave the Sunday evening. The fight's at about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Vegas time. So we've got about a good 36 hours to relax and chill out in Vegas.
There
and
ain't going to
enjoy
be
it.
no relaxing, John. There ain't going to be no relaxing. It's all
Not
in.
relaxing, letting our hair down, let's put it that way.
Exactly that. And listen, I just want to pick your brains on something because you've become a really good analyst when we've had you in the studio. Obviously, Chevin Clark has just dismantled Tommy McCarthy. We've just been saying in the studio, a fantastic win for him. I know that you've been keeping across it. What did you make of it, mate?
I thought it was really good. We was watching it in one of our rooms, and I thought McCarthy put up a decent fight. Good body shots were being winged in, but it's the aggression of Chevin Clark and the work rate. When I've sparred him before, and I've seen him spar a couple of other guys in our gym, the work rate remains the same throughout the 10 rounds, the 8-10 rounds that he's sparred. So that's going to be his main thing. He's not a massive cruiserweight, is he? But he's very, very strong, and he's very, very fit. So that's going to pay him in good stead when he goes through the rounds and goes through the ranks.
How do you think John's going to get on tonight against Jaime Munguia?
I'm hoping John Ryder wins. Obviously, boxed on a couple of his cards before. Went the distance with Canelo recently. I'm backing John Ryder to get the win. And Munguia's got a point to prove. I know he's not had his record says that he's had lots of wins, but against not many top names. If he gets a win over John Ryder, you've got to take him very, very seriously. But I'm backing John Ryder to get the win.
Yeah. Listen, top man. Go well this week. Enjoy it, my man.
Cheers, Adam.
And we're looking forward to seeing you do your thing. Take care.
I appreciate it. Take care.
Superstar. There you go. Johnny Fisher in action next weekend. Dimitri Bezous is the man that he'll be standing across from him. Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. And we were just alluding to John Ryder's fight against Jaime Munguia taking place in Phoenix, Arizona later on. And we'll give you a full preview of that too. Dr. Mark Prince, OBE, is going to be joining us on the show very, very shortly. Listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT in partnership with William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. You've got to be over 18, but you gamble aware.
talkSPORT Podcast League. The Debrief with Alan Brazil and Gabby Abongla-Hall.
Gab, how are we? Are you all right, Gab?
Pardon? Featuring uncensored conversation.
The old naggers were swinging a lot.
Outrageous anecdotes.
Of course. Can't I have these drinks? No.
And breakfast beers with Alan Brazil.
I've only had one. It's your show.
The podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the UK's most rock and roll breakfast show.
If she hears this, I'm dead. Up that pie.
Watch on YouTube and listen for free on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Give us a break.
Knockout Radio for your Saturday night fight night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
It's fight night on talkSPORT. I'm Jack Catterall, Spencer Oliver alongside me, just keeping an eye on the screen in Belfast as we stand right now. Jose Felix has just entered the ring. He's going to be taking on Lewis Crocker very, very shortly. Wins for Paddy Donovan and Siobhan Clark a little earlier on in the evening. We'll give you a full review of that a little bit later on. The guests are coming in thick and fast, and it's always good to have someone in the studio, especially who's far better looking than either me or Spence, and far more knowledgeable as well. He is joining us very kindly in the studio. No, I'm telling the truth.
Do you know what? The guy don't age, mate. I've known him for the best part of 30 years now, and he just does not age.
Been that long, isn't it?
It's crazy, Mark. It's crazy.
Former light heavyweight world title challenger. It is, of course, Dr. Mark Prince, OBE.
Easy, my brother.
Does it ever get boring when people say OBE?
No, it never gets boring. It's a beautiful thing, absolutely beautiful, because it was such a treat for my mum. Who'd come over in Windrush times and never kind of been around the palace, so working so hard, all the tourist areas never got to visit, putting a graft in like many in that generation. Just got to give a shout out to all those foundational generation folk out there, worked so hard to give us, you know, what we have today. So big shout out to that generation. But you know, we're here doing our thing, and it's just a pleasure to be able to gift my mum with that moment, to see her kid come from being homeless, see her kid come from being in trouble, you know, getting into drugs, getting into crime, and just, you know, disenfranchised young person, until I found myself and I found boxing, and I decided that I don't want the roads, I don't want criminal activity, I don't want drugs, I don't want alcohol, I want a clean body, I want to be a champion, and just committed myself to that, man. And that was the beginning of a long process, you know, before I got to meet just special guys like Spencer Oliver and other guys in the boxing fraternity.
Mark, when did you realise that? Because I know your story, I know your backstory, and it's an incredible one, mate. It really is. Bro. I mean, what a roller coaster you've been on, and you know you've come through with flying colours. But you know, at what point did you recognise you was going down the wrong path? You know, you've been brought up in Tottenham, and you're mixing with the wrong guys, and like you say, drink, drugs, and all of that, and you changed your life. I mean, it's such an inspirational story. Tell us at what point that was, Mark.
At what point? Really good question, Spence. To give you a little backdrop, I believed that there was something special in me from a young kid. I remember my books at school, I used to practice doing signatures on there, just believing that I was going to be, people was going to know me, like I'm going to be known, and I didn't know
did you know
what.
Boxing? No.
Didn't know, I had a clue what. People used to say to me, oh, your dad's a boxer, because my dad was a Guyanese champion, like heavyweight. It's like, you going to box? And it was like, no, I didn't even think about it. My dad just taught us how to fight, because that's what you do. When you come over, I was a 60s baby, so when you're born in the 60s, you know, you got to be dealing with mods, skinheads and all of that, and you see all the, you know, the graffiti everywhere, and you go places, so you know that you're going to have to back it, you're going to have to defend it. So being able to fight was a gift from my dad to present to his boys, so when we were out, we could take care of ourselves, and it held me in good stead. I certainly needed to be able to fight, so I was a great street fighter, and people knew, you know, don't mess with Prince, man, because them Prince boys can back it out there on the roads. So we developed that. But the point where I knew that things were turning around for me, and I realised that your question was, when did you realise that this wasn't something good for you? And it's really strange, because it helped me to realise the kids sometimes don't realize how detrimental it is, the life that they are living, because I didn't quite get it, because I was around those individuals and that was my world. It was a survival thing for us. So it was like we weren't trying to stab up anyone and hurt people. We just wanted to make money. So in my eyes, I didn't really think that I was hurting anyone. I knew the things I had to do to get the money, because you had to take people's
like
money, inside jobs, but it was what you done.
Right.
So I didn't think, oh, how's this guy gonna feel when he goes home and he was accosted and money to, we do inside jobs. So you go and get your wages and whatever, and then somebody would intercede and the guy would let you know what time, blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of that, a lot of fraud. We just hustled to be able to get through. So that's how we looked at it. We had to feed the kids, we had to pay the bills. So we done it whatever way we felt we needed to do it, right? With certain boundaries and limitations, because there's certain things you wouldn't do, right? And I realized at one point that, hold on a minute, I began to look in the mirror and ask myself questions. And after a night of drugs, I said, I woke up, I missed the day. I woke up the next night, and then I thought, is this the life that I'd planned to live? Like, is this what I dreamt as a kid? And I kind of caught myself, and then I said to myself, how your kids gonna feel when they get older and say, Dad, what do you do, Daddy, and stuff like that? And they were like 3 and 1 and Tanisha and Kai, and I thought, nah, I'm not having it. Because the one thing I loved being was a dad, and the one thing I was so proud of was my children. And I did not want to let them down. So I thought, I'm going to change this for them, because I can't tell them that they got to be a good kids and then I'm not being a good man. So I thought, that's my job. I'm going to change that, turn my life around, show them how to get and change their situation and believe in themselves. Because I had to do that, because formally, for you to be doing that, it means you don't believe in yourself.
What age was you then?
I was 21, Spence.
Wow.
21 years old.
So you never laced up a pair of gloves until you was 21 years of age?
My dad just taught me how to lace up gloves with my brother and punch up my brother and get punched up by my brother and spar with my dad and get punched up by my dad. So I was always in there with like my older brother or my dad was sparring partners. So that's what I knew for growing up, but that was only for fighting.
You went on to achieve sensational things as a professional boxer, obviously challenging for a world title, WBO light heavyweight world title, as I said. Yeah. I'm going to come back to boxing in a minute, because you're talking about something obviously that's personal to you in your own personal life, something that you've lived, of which is now obviously helping others with the foundation that you set up in your son's name. For those that don't listen, everybody will know this story, because I'm sure that people are across everything that you've done. But for those that don't, obviously. A tragedy in your own life. You mentioned your son there, Kyan, and he sadly lost his life because of knife crime in 2006. Yeah. And in the wake of that, you've set up a foundation in his name in order to help young people realise the consequences of their actions, the consequences of the life that they are choosing, as you've just alluded to there, in order to help them change, make positive change going forward, and make better decisions going forward. Yeah. You just talked about your own experience living that life. Yeah. How has it changed now? We're sat here in 2024. How have attitudes of young people changed? You just talked about limitations. Yeah, we're hearing about knife crime going up over the last 10 years. Over 70% it is increased. Yeah, you just spoke about not stabbing people up, not using a blade, but it seems to be the norm now. Yeah, yeah. So how has it changed now for the young people that are out there?
We didn't grow up with the way that violence in your face is being promoted and put out to you, and the way everybody thinks they're a bad man. When we were growing up, there were good kids that got on with their work and they done this, they done that. There was the hierarchy. He's the toughest in the school. He's second. He's third. Don't mess with him. He's a good kid. He's a comedian. Like, everyone had their place. Now, when I talk to these kids, it's like the lamest, moistest you is trying to be a bad man out there. Like, any kid is trying to fill their boots in this role of being a bad man. And how do you do that? You have a weapon. If you got a weapon and you use it, now you're looked at as a bad man.
What do you think has taken them to that point? Why are they feeling like that?
Look, we cannot turn away from all the influences and the changes of culture that's happened over the years. Okay, so I used to look at the violence going on in America. I used to look at the trends, the cultures, the fashions, everything that was happening. And we used to talk amongst each other, my generation, and we used to say, boy, it's going to be peak when this next generation come up, because it can only get worse. Yeah. It was always kind of going there, you know. There was guys from our ends, the Lambies. There was certain man Brett and their man from Tottenham. There were certain things going on in eras, and you had those characters in every area, West London, South London. There was names for every area, and everybody knew their guys. But what was happening as the youngers came up, their job was influencing the next generation. And they forgot that their job was to find out what they needed to do with their life, because they were going to be example to the next generation coming up. So because our generation was busy partying, going out, messing around, a lot of them was not focused on what they needed to do to bring up their youths. So what you had was a next generation of youths that kind of was not focused on how our parents brought us up, to focus on having a great job. They might not have talked about being an entrepreneur, because I didn't even know about that until later on in life, but they could have learned that themselves, because I learned that, wait, we could start our own business. Wait, we could do this and that. So the world gave us more options later on. Those are for our children to take up all these opportunities and chances. But what happened on the other side, you've got technology stepping up, so it gives the kids access to not only good stuff, but bad stuff. And what happens when you're a kid growing up? You're drawn to the bad stuff. You're drawn to the bad guy. The girls are drawn to the bad boys because they get all the attention and, you know, they get the talked about the more. So girls are drawn that direction. The boys are drawn in that direction. So it's almost like we've got something innate in us that draws us more to negativity than it does to positivity. And when society promotes it in films, in music, now we're topping up the cake and putting icing on it and making it look pretty and making it look all right. So of course it's in the children, because they become desensitized to what time it is and what's going on, and the real damage of serious youth violence.
But we live in a world of opportunity now, you know, like that as years have gone on, there's more opportunity for these kids. And so, Mark, I know you're across all this data, and I know that you have got it down to a T. Yeah. But I'm just saying, how has it come to what it has come to now, where the kids don't care no more about stabbing someone or shooting someone, and they're quite happy to go away for the rest of their lives? And I mean, how has it come to that when, you know, time has moved on and there is more opportunity there, yet they chose that path? I mean, to me, it's just insane, and I can't get over it.
Look, the qualities of life aren't promoted enough. What's promoted is money, 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 cars, girls, how the girl's supposed to look, just all superficial stuff. Nothing's deep. Nothing's like treasured. You know, nothing's of worthy of value is really promoted and looked at, so kids can look up to it. You know, everyone wants to get it today, now, quick. So you got Big Brother. All of a sudden, you got all these TV stuff where you can be famous overnight. You go in you meet couples. Next minute, your followers have gone up to 1 million. Everyone's talking about you. So no one wants to utilize talent, potential, work at it. You know, the success formula that's developed great individuals over the years, that's made us remember them, talk about them, write about them in books. Now you ain't got that. You ain't got the Arleys, you ain't got the Malcolm X's, you ain't got the Martin Luthers, you ain't got the people that have really, you know, put their life on the line because of integrity or because of beliefs that they have. We don't have that. The only thing I hear when I talk to youths, what do you want? Trust me. Tell me what they tell me, bro. Tell me what they say. What's their answer?
I want to be rich.
I want, thank you, bro. I want money. I had to school of you only on Thursday. And I said, bro, it's okay that you want money. But if you don't understand how the market works, then you wanting money could leave you open to any old deal that somebody presents to you. Here, kid, here's a £50, here's a 150, hold that, just take that package over there for me. Why? Because your mindset says, I want money. So as soon as you get offered a deal for some money, you're going to take it. Now, if they could change that to not I want money, but I want to be someone. I want to change the world. I want to be an inventor. I want to bring value to society. I want to do something great. Now, as a reward of having something that you want to become, you now get that money. So they don't understand how it works. They just think saying I want money is going to bring them money. They don't understand how the process of success works, bro. And that's our job. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. Because it works. And they're talking about, oh, what's the solution? Well, we've been hitting the solution for the longest, bruv. I've been on the grind for, 16, 17 years now. You know, registered charity from 2008. You know, this is serious business I'm on. Why? Because I've seen lives change. I've got a kid on board my charity who, when I first met him, he was a refugee, bro. His mate at school got killed in front of him. And the school called me in because they were having the classroom that was there that witnessed the killing just going off their rockers. We're dealing with a lot of mental health here. People aren't taking this into consideration. Our kids have got mental health issues. There's stress, anxiety, worry, fear. You think these guys are bad man? What bad man? They're scared little boys. If you ain't scared, why do you need 20 men to roll out with? I used to roll out on my ones. I'll go any area. And I still roll out now. It don't matter to me. There's no fear factor in me. These kids are fearful. They've locked off themselves in little prisons. Their mindset, how they think, this is my era, this is my era. They think they've got something. You got nothing. You've created nothing. And what you think is something isn't anything. It's the government's. Your postcode isn't your ends. That was there before you. That'll be there when you're gone. All of this is common sense. I'm not talking anything clever and smart, but it shows where their mindset is for them to buy into these stories. And you ask yourself why? Because they need a sense of belonging. They need and if you're getting brought up with that sense of belonging, and if you're being in a society where everybody frowns upon these things, violent behavior, people without integrity, and they value being successful and the plan and working towards it, then all of a sudden kids will fall into line with that because they'll see, oh, this is how society is around me. I can't kind of create some different sort of blueprint for life, but they're not seeing that. So that we can't blame them. Where did they see this? They didn't make it up. They didn't make up all this violence. They didn't make up all this stuff. They've seen it, and it's been okay. So they perpetuate everything that they're seeing.
We're going to continue this conversation in a minute on how boxing, hopefully, can help that generation. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. You listen to talkSPORT.
Go the distance with Fight Night.
Oh, he's got down.
On talkSPORT.
That's how winning is done.
The home of boxing.
Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall, Spencer Oliver alongside me. Mark Prince OBE is alongside us. Thank you very much for all your correspondence so far. Enjoying the programme. Mark, regarding everything that you've just said about the situation with young people, the work that you're doing through your son's foundation, you're now at that stage where you're ready to start getting back involved in boxing. Obviously, you had a great professional career yourself. You've been away doing your work, but now it's a time to get back in. Where do you want to add value?
So it's strange because I was just sharing with Spence that if I hadn't come back at the age of 43 to 47 and trying to get my British Board of Boxing control license back so I could fight with Sky Sports, Frank was ready to promote me and everything was set up. It was just to get my license. If I hadn't gone through that process and had those 4 fights, 4 victories, 3 knockouts, and went 10 rounds with one of them, then I probably wouldn't be here today. So me and Spence were saying, was that a waste of time? No, it wasn't. Because getting back in really helped me to find myself. Imagine you're grieving.
For those that don't know, just a quick one. You had about a 12, 13-year hiatus, didn't you? 99.
13 years out.
Right, so from 1993 to about 2013, wasn't it? Something like
that? Yes, 100%.
Right.
So 2000 was the injury.
Yeah.
They said, the consultant said, you can't fight again. 2013, I woke up and said, hold on a minute. You said I can't fight again. I didn't make that decision. What the hell was I thinking for 13 years to let someone else tell me what I should do?
Yeah.
Crazy. So listeners out there, maybe there's something going on in your life that you've kind of just let go because you've heard all this negative talk of what you can or can't do. Set your own bar, set your own standards. So when I done that in 2013, I realised that there was a lot in me left. We had some great fun at the gym, sparring with fighters. You know, Nathan Cleverly was still around at the time, and Don Charles Jim, and I kind of got back in the mix, and it was good because I was back in with the current fighters that were around at the time. I was back in going to fight shows, and it was just a beautiful thing. But growing from there, what I've managed to do is been so busy developing programs. How can I get through to these kids and understanding that field and that system? So I have to create things to go through the hoops, all the councils and all the schools and all the stuff you got to produce products. So I had to create products. So I've learned a lot on the way. I've upskilled myself. I've become a certified life coach. Now I've got strategies and ways how to help people in all various areas, time management, business, with sacrificing, just learning how to perform better and perform at your highest level. So I know how to develop people and help them in that stage. So if you mix all this skill set that I've learned as a life coach, and you mix all my experience as a fighter, been in the ring at the highest level, now you got someone quite special on your team, because I know how the fighter's mindset's like. And I know how to develop you. So when you go in that ring, you're performing at your best. And here's what I know is the issue. And a lot of people don't understand this. They watch fighters go into the ring and they think, yeah, come on, smash him. But the fighters don't tell you the build up to the fight. The fighters don't tell you their personal problems. The fighters don't tell you what's going on in their mind. They go to a press conference and they got to give it the large. And they believe in it. They're doing all they're doing. They're not fake. But what I'm saying, there are things that they're not saying.
They're not saying it because they don't know. That's the point, and that's where you're going.
100%. Because there's things I didn't realise. I didn't know that getting all loved up in one of my biggest fights of my career and not focusing on the fight and not on this woman that I was going to, be my wife soon in 1998, and I got a world title. When you got a world title fight and you've worked your way through how many years of hard graft from nothing, mate, you better keep your mind on the fight. You better not seeing no one doing nothing. You've climbed the mountain, and then you're going to be looking around already. You're at the top. You need to finish off the roll, stick the flag in, boom, that's me. But I started looking around before I stuck the flag in, right? And you're looking in the future. Now, my job is to help fighters to keep their mind focused so they can perform at their best. Help them to process the issues and things going on in their life so these guys can go out there and add another 10, 20% to their performance, because I know that it's our thoughts that create our feelings, and I know that it's our feelings that lead to how we act, and I know that it's our actions that give us our results. We inevitably, our mind is so powerful that is the point of our life that's in charge of the results and the quality of life that we're getting. Fighters get what's going on in their mind. They don't get belts just because they train hard in the gym. When there's two professionals at the top of their game, what separates the two?
The
lads.
penultimate rounds,
mindset.
9, 10, 11, 12.
Come on, that's
they're
all
the
hard
rounds where it becomes
mindset.
a psychological
Thank
battle.
you, my
It's not about the
brother.
physicalities. I get it. I understand it.
Thank you.
Listen, if you want to hire him, give us a ring right now. He's hot right now because I reckon there's going to be some people wanting you to be working with him, man.
Bro, the minute I produce the goods with a fighter, fighters are going to come and realise, you know
Mate,
what, this is the value that he's bringing.
I'm inspired. I'm hiring him. I'm coming back.
Listen, we only asked you to come for half. Can you stay for at least another 15 minutes?
Bro,
Because I want to
here.
get your take on next weekend's light heavyweight fight. Is that right?
I love that, mate.
Yeah? Good man.
Love
right.
that.
Do stick around. We're going to talk about Batsi Aziz in a moment or so with Mark Prince. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to talkSPORT.
1089 and 1053 medium wave. On your mobile and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.
talkSPORT.
With the latest headlines, I'm Jeremy Leeburn. Maidstone United manager George Ellakobi has called his players history makers after they reached the fifth round of the FA Cup with a 2-1 victory at Ipswich in talkSPORT's live lunchtime commentary.
The FA Cup is casting its magical spell. This is why we'll always love the FA Cup.
Events at Portman Road summed up perfectly there by our commentator Joe Shannon, with 96 league places separating the two sides. Elsewhere, Newcastle booked their place in the fifth round with a 2-0 win against Fulham in tonight's live commentary here on talkSPORT. Brighton, Leicester and Luton also progressed to the next round earlier on. Some breaking news tonight, and Xavi will step down as Barcelona head coach at the end of the season. A 5-3 defeat at home to Villarreal today has left them 10 points off La Liga leaders Real Madrid. Angola will face Nigeria in the quarter-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. It's after they won 3-0 against Namibia earlier. The Super Eagles, meanwhile, beat Cameroon 2-0 in tonight's other fixture. And Ollie Pope's unbeaten 148 has given England's cricketers a, slim chance of winning the first test with India after day 3 in Hyderabad. Ben Stokes' side closed on 316 for 6 in their second innings, a lead of 126. England bowled India out earlier for 436. A reminder, there's live commentary over on talkSPORT 2. Set your alarm clock early, though. It gets underway at 3:30 tomorrow morning.
talkSPORT News.
A major incident's been declared in Liverpool city centre after a huge fire broke out at a high-rise building earlier this afternoon. And the Foreign Office says it's appalled by allegations that some UN aid workers in Gaza were involved in Hamas attacks against Israel in October.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep your car safe this winter. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com for tyres, MOTs and batteries, so you can drive away happy every time.
Dry and clear for most areas tonight, but windy with light rain possible in the northwest.
Online, DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
The fight starts now.
With Adam Catterall.
I don't think he's going to get up.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
It's Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall, Spencer Oliver alongside me. Mark Prince OBE very kindly has stayed around for a bit of a Batsi Aziz preview. We're going to get stuck into that in a moment too. An announcement this week has seen Dalton Smith stepping up in levels. We're going to be talking about his fight with Jose Zepeda, which is coming up in Sheffield. Jack Catterall's hunting for that rematch with Josh Taylor. He and his manager Sam Jones are also going to be on the show. And Terry Harper coming down in weight. She's the champion at 154, coming down at 147. To take on Sandy Ryan. They're our guests in the next hour of the show. I told you it was action-packed this evening. Don't be going anywhere. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Now then, as well as listening to us wherever you are in the world, you can also watch us on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We are streaming there live as we speak, so you're more than welcome to come and join us on the show. Comment section is open. Get stuck into the programme. Now, thank you very much for all your comments so far on our guest in studio, Mark Prince, who has been... Listen, he's going to be taking all our jobs. He's going to be presenting the show on his own next week. No doubt about it. We want to get your insights into this fight that we're covering on talkSPORT next weekend. Now, this is your former division. Obviously, you've been there, done it, got the T-shirt. There's some young lads coming through that want to get to the levels that you hit. Next weekend, we have got... In all essence, a bit of a battle of Britain, especially a battle of certain areas of London as well. Two lads who used to be pals, sparring partners and what have you, going at it for a bit of bragging rights and to propel themselves forward for world title honours. We've got Joshua Batsi taking on Dan Aziz. Now, first and foremost, the British light heavyweight scene is red hot right now.
Yes.
Who do you like in this mix? Who do you look at and you think to yourself, do you know something, you could do a bit, mate, you can go all the way?
Okay, let me just check this. I like Craig. Craig Richards.
Yeah.
He's very competitive, a smart fighter, a big heart. Look at the fight he gave to Josh. You also had a world title fight as
with
well.
Bivol, yeah.
You don't go into the ring with guys like that and still back it and represent, and you're not the real deal. Craig's the real deal and will give anyone at top level a great fight. I was a Batsi fan the minute I saw him. I said, this guy's going places. I love this style. I just love this swag as a fighter. It's like, yeah, boy, we got a tasty one coming through here. And then it kind of had some hiccups.
Yeah.
And I wasn't seeing him as much as I would have liked to. And I remembered how my career kind of went a little bit like that. And I thought, that's not a good sign. You go from 5-6 fights for the year, and it starts reducing down to 2 and 1. Houston, we have a problem. So I felt that that's going to take some of his groove away. Because as a prospect, you need to get in your groove. And I was sharing this the other day with Spence when we was working with Sky, that as a fighter coming up, you want to be regularly fighting to still feel the vibes of the last victory that you just had. You don't want it to start being a distant memory. You want to feel what you had before. Like, you could still feel like, I used to go in the gym and it was like I was still in my fight. I could picture everything just like I was fighting. The further I went away from that fight, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, it kind of it felt like I had to start again a little bit. And the further it went away, the furthest I've been away was 14 months out. My gosh, you kind of got to build up that mindset again. There's more adrenaline pumping, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe other fighters.
No, absolutely. Listen, inactivity, like, boxing is steeped in history with fighters that have been inactive that don't get the results or they don't put in the performances. 100%. Let's use Anthony Joshua as a prime example. You know, you go back to 2020, he had one fight. 2022, he had one fight. Good point, and then you see him bang 2023. He bangs 3 fights in. You see the first fight that he goes against Jermaine Franklin. You look at it and you go, not a great performance, that. Spoke to him after the fight, says, what's going on? He said, well, I haven't got the confidence in my own ability because of my inactivity. He said, so I'm ready to go phase 1. But I can't go phase 2 because I'm not believing in myself. He said, because I'm inactive. So then he goes in against Otto Wallin. And we see it again.
Phase 3 look good.
Yeah, but he goes 1 round. Okay, he's not doing anything. Come on, Josh, start going.
No, you're thinking Hellenius now.
Round 2. Oh, sorry, Hellenius. Hellenius, sorry. Round 2. Come on, Josh, start letting him go. Round 3. Now you're starting to get frustrated a little bit because you can see that he's trying, but he's not getting up for the shots. Then all of a sudden, boom, round 7 comes. He lets the right hand go, but for the first time, he's not holding his feet. He steps in and he closes the gap and lets the shot go. Now that's installed that confidence that he's got that showreel knockout that he needs. So now he's had the rounds against Franklin. He's had the showreel knockout. Then we come up against Otto Wallin.
Looks amazing.
That many people felt that Otto Wallin would give him all the problems. We saw what he'd done to Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Otto Wallin might beat Joshua. Joshua's not in the right headspace. You know, we haven't seen any performances from him. But because he's been active, that's where I'm going with this, Mark, because of the activity, he went out there and it's the first time in years I've seen Anthony Joshua throwing punches in bunches, and that's when he's destructive because he's explosive. But single shots, boxers see that. They catch a single shot. They'll catch a single shot. It's when you let them go, for the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, phase 1, phase 2. And that's what we saw with Joshua there. And on that performance, you look at it and go, he's a problem for any heavyweight in the world right now. And he's got people talking again. People writ him off. And that was a beautiful thing to see there because when you look at what that guy's achieved, 2-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medal, world silver medal and all that.
I know, it's just mindset.
Come from the place you come from the streets, from drinking, drugs. You know, that inspirational story that he had, the journey from an 18-year-old kid to achieve what he's done. And the millions of kids that he's inspired, he's never been given the recognition for it. He doesn't get the recognition that he should do.
Do you know what? I think he does.
Well, he's going to get it now.
I think he does get it. Listen, kids love him.
Yeah, but
the
I think
British public love him.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's where you want to focus. I think a part of this process for AJ is that sometimes he focuses on the negatives and who's criticising him. And if I was coaching him, I'd say, listen, this world is 50-50. This human experience is 50-50. Focus on all the people that love you and pick up all that energy and let that take you through, because they love AJ out there.
Mark, I told him, I said to him, listen, AJ, what you got to do here is, I said, don't let all this negativity affect your mind, because that's what it's done. I said, feed off it, because why they're talking about you means that you're doing something. It means, you know what I mean? So feed off that and go and prove them wrong. And I think that's what he's done.
You need that. How can you have the fans that are all loving you and not having haters? How can you have the sun without the rain? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have that perfect balance in life.
Sure.
And when you expected this smelly shit to land on me.
Listen, on this fight next weekend, just before we let you get on with the rest of your evening, how do you see it playing out? Batsi Aziz.
Wow, we've gone over this time and time again. Batsi Aziz. Here's what I think Aziz needs to do. Aziz needs to come into this fight with in the mental space that I am the man. You're not the man, Batsi. I am. And this is my night to shine. I'm going to box and I'm going to fight better than I ever have, because I'm in front of you and I used to spar with you and you used to punch out my face most of the time, 70-80% of the time. Now we got 10 ounces. Now I've got 3 titles. I'm going to show you how I've grown. I'm going to stay on your ass. I'm going to keep putting punches in bunches on you. My defense is nice and tight and I'm disciplined. I'm going to stay in the pocket, so you have to punch, and I'm going to watch everything. I'm going to read your timing. I'm going to take it away from you. If he does that, and Batsi starts seeing that in the first 3 rounds, his brain's going to say, oh boy, stations, we're going to be at some serious, it's like the fire alarm's going off, and it's like all at the station, and he's going to be thinking in his mind, this is going to be a hard, tough night. That's the mind space Dan needs to put Batsi in, and Batsi has to come into this fight and believe that all this talk and all this stuff about me being the golden boy, I'm going to show you why. This is my night. But he's going to have to fight like a warrior for this.
Who wins it, mate? Who wins?
Wow. So I came into this.
You got a kid that's developed on the road like Aziz, and Batsi
well
was
travelled.
Batsi was the guy.
Yeah. Has Dan come to his limit? Has he come to the place where he grows no further? Because we know there's levels to boxing, and we've seen him kind of been taking out guys, and we thought they're going to give him a lot more trouble, and Dan deals with them. How long does that continue for? Every time he goes through, so I'm thinking about that.
Give me a winner. Give me a winner.
Wow. I keep swinging on this, but my intelligence, my brain says to me that Joshua Batsi is going to come out with the victory.
Wow. Well, listen, don't forget, it's live on talkSPORT next week, next Saturday. And this fight is insane. It's a real 50-50.
The beautiful thing about it, because you were so on the fence and undecided and trying to pick it, that just shows you how good of a fight it is.
It's a
bro.
sensation. Trust me, no one should be missing that.
Nah, it's going to be a cracker. Make sure you come and join us next week.
Beautiful.
Listen, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, man, thank you guys.
Hope you've enjoyed it. We've absolutely loved it.
Mate,
this is going to be a regular thing.
I love being here so much. If you guys don't invite me back, you're going to see me at home depressed crying. The moment of talkSPORT.
We're going to make this once every 4 and every 6 weeks, something like that. That's
please, listeners.
We're going to make it happen.
Email them. Tell them how much. If you love me being on the show, let them know. Please, guys.
It's brilliant. Stick with us. Dalton Smith's on the show next. Don't go anywhere.
Love you.
Sunday morning, the FA Cup live on talkSPORT.
West Brom versus Wolves. Coverage from 11. Kick-off 11:45.
He shoots, it's got in!
Sunday morning on talkSPORT. Full of football. Go the distance with Fight Night.
Oh, it's gone down!
On talkSPORT.
That's how winning is done.
The home of boxing.
Doesn't even continue the count. That was a savage shot from Dalton Smith.
And the new unified British and Commonwealth super lightweight champion, Dalton Thunder Smith.
Hard work's paying off, and those are hard days in the gym, pushing towards those dreams and making them into reality now.
Thank you very much for all your correspondence so far. What an unbelievable guest Mark Prince is.
I'm telling you, listen, I go back so long with Mark, and I just know he's just an inspirational guy, but he's been there, seen it, done it, and the journey's just an incredible one, and with losing his son, Kyan, and, that effectively ruining his boxing career, finishing his boxing career, and then trying to make a comeback. I mean, it's just insane, but it's so inspirational. So when I met up with him last week, we was at the Dan Aziz, Joshua Batsi open workouts, and I said to him, listen, Mark, you need to get back in, mate. You've got so much to offer. You're such a good talker, and you can spread the word and do what you want to do, but you need to get back involved with boxing because boxing needs you, and I think that was proven there.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll see him again this week because we're building up towards a fight. We've got a few nice little dates coming up this week, so let's get him back in.
Light heavyweight, baby.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, speaking of dates coming up, looking forward to what we're about to talk about. Our next guest is ready to rock and roll and come and join us on the show. And he's getting a showdown in the Steel City itself. Sheffield will be hosting Dalton Smith, taking on Jose Zepeda. Very excited about this fight, and Dalton Smith very kindly has given up a bit of time on a Saturday evening to come and join us. Dalton, how are you? You well?
I'm all good. How are you boys?
Hey, Dalton, how's things, mate?
All good, all good. Training hard.
Nice. Well, listen, let's get into it, mate. Let's get into the fight. I mean, opportunity, man.
Yeah, big opportunity, and especially for this next fight, that's what I was asking for, and I think it's the perfect fight for me at this stage of my career.
Dalton, I don't know about you, right? When they announced this, genuinely, it made me feel like when Josh Taylor had the Victor Postol fight announced, right?
Great shout.
He was coming through, 12, 13 fights, great amateur pedigree. Everybody was like, right, he's going to be the guy, But the step up was just at that time. I remember pre-fight, I was thinking, "Whoa, that might be a little bit too much." And this feels like that. We know your pedigree, mate. We know what you're all about. You've needed this fight maybe for the last 6 to 12 months, haven't you? In order to go right, I'm here now. Because once you come through this, and fingers crossed, you come through it with flying colours, there is no going back. It's world level then going forward.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and especially winning the British outright. I was in the domestic scene for I think it was about a year. It took me to get the British title. So moving on now, that's what I want to be chasing next. Getting my name up there with the the best in the 140 division, and I think this is the perfect fight for that, and a fight I'm confident I'll come through with flying colours.
Yeah. Sorry. Zepeda's, he's been there, seen it, done it, hasn't he? He's mixed at the highest level, lost in 11 rounds to Regis Prograis, who's one of the best in the pound for pound in that division. So this really is, Dalton, a coming-of-age fight for you right now, isn't it? Because Zepeda through that, and you're knocking on the door for a world title. I mean, that's a huge jump up. Like you say, you've just won the Lonsdale belt outright, which is every fighter's dream. They want that, and then you've just kicked on, and huge jump up.
Yeah, it's definitely a jump up, and Zepeda's been there, been in with some of the best names, and I think he's only lost at world level, so I can't take him lightly. I know he's going to be the hardest fight of my career.
What challenges does he bring you, mate? When you watch him, obviously last time out we saw him against Richardson Hitchens, just coming short in that fight, but as Spence says, he's been up in with the big boys, and he's still, with all due respect, he's still only 34. It's a fantastic piece of matchmaking. What challenges do you see in him bringing to you in this fight?
I think we'll have to find. I'm not sure myself, but we're soon gonna find out. Maybe he doesn't give me no problems, and that's the way we want it. But moving through the rankings now and trying to get myself up to those, the world level. These are the fights I need to be taking, and I'm confident in my ability. These are the guys. When my team looked and was like, right, where we're going. These were the guys we was looking at. So we wasn't looking at no easy fights. I'm confident in my ability, where I'm going to get. And, let's be truthful. If I want to be the number one boy in the 140 division, I've got to be taking care of these guys.
You and your team have got a lot of confidence in your own ability because, like you say, you've just won that Lonsdale belt outright. And the normal steps then would be go on to European level and then up to world level. But you sort of skipped that. You've gone straight into the world level. You feel that you're ready right now, Dalton. Yeah, you feel like this is the time because, with boxers, it's all about development and just getting them, ready for that big stage. And it's, different fighters progress at different times. But for you, you go British title and then you go, well, the obvious step really would be European. But you've gone bang straight into the world title picture.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to get the European, but that's tied up at the minute. So, I've got to push on to where I want to get. And like I said, that's pushing on towards knocking on the door to, fighting for a world title in the next year or so. So, there's no easy fights. If I want to get to that level and achieve what I set out to do, these are the guys I've got to go through.
And let's not overlook one of the big talking points as well. Getting it in Sheffield, mate. I mean, that must have put a smile on your face. Most things like this, you've kind of got to go on the road and got to go and do it somewhere else. To get this in front of your home fans, mate, your phone must have been off the chain this week with people saying, "Oi, how do I get a ticket for this?"
Mate, it's crazy, but I've headlined at Sheffield, twice now, and the support, they always surprise me, come out, show the love, and especially when I announced this fight, you got the taste buds going for some people, and I'm expecting a big turnout. It's going to be hectic in there, and I can't wait for it.
Are you doing the full camp in Sheffield? Because I know you flirted with doing bits and bats in America when you've been on your holidays and whatever. You can't stay out of a gym, but are you doing the whole thing based in Sheffield, or are you trying other things as well as you're going along?
I mean, it'd be nice to do a full camp in the sun, but sunny Sheffield at the minute, that'll have to do. So yeah, full camp at home.
Mate, fantastic. Listen, when Matchroom obviously announced the recent schedule, this was the one that absolutely leaped off the page. Dalton, listen, have a safe, healthy camp, my man. We're looking forward to you throwing down with Jose Zepeda. It is a sensational fight, and I'm sure the fans in Sheffield are going to come out in full force, mate, to show you a lot of support.
Appreciate it. Pleasure speaking to you too, boys.
Yeah, great speaking to you, mate.
Top man. Go well, mate.
Appreciate
Go well.
it.
There you go.
Thank you. Top man.
Dalton Smith. We've been speaking about Dalton for a long period of time on the show, and it's been, as he's just said, he's been in that British domestic scene for a long period of time. He wanted to win the Lonsdale belt outright. Spencer will obviously advocate for that because every fighter wants to do those types of things. I felt for at least a year to 18 months he's ready.
Yeah.
Because he's got a wonderful amateur pedigree. I think I've been banging the drum. Let's get him up there. Let's get him up there. Let's see what happens. This piece of matchmaking took my breath away when they made it. Brilliant. And it reminds me very much of the Taylor Postol thing when they did that.
Perfect matchmaking. It really is great. A great bit of matchmaking. That, I mean, the fight that makes my mouth water. You know the fight. You know the fight that makes my mouth water, don't you?
Him and Adam Aziz.
He's the European champion. That's why I dropped it out there. I dangled the carrot.
Yeah, but
I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
You know that they're going to meet at some point later down the line. There's no doubt.
It has to be for a world title. That's the point. Because they're that good. They're that good. I think it would be a crime if it wasn't for a world title. And I think that Dalton has now, because he won the British, Adam Aziz won the European.
Yeah.
In his 10th fight, broke my long-standing record of 26 years.
I saw.
Thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah.
And now he's leapfrogging him. And he's going for the world. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's going to be a great fight in the future.
Exciting times at 140. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT in partnership with William Hill. Get epic value all season long with William Hill. You've got to be over 18. BeGambleAware.org. Stick around. Speaking of 140 fighters, Jack Catterall's on the show in a minute.
Total Knockout Radio. Fight Night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
And Linares backs onto the ropes involuntarily, and this is a big chance for Jack Catterall now in the 5th round as Linares tries to cover up, desperately holds on.
Your winner, he's still the WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight Champion, Jack El Gato Catterall.
We know it's been going back and forth, but it's still capturing the public's imagination. Everybody's still interested in the fight, but if it needs to happen now. March, April is when me and Josh have accepted the fight, and I just can't wait to smash his head in and be done with it all.
There you go, the dulcet tones of Jack Catterall, not mincing his words. You're listening to talkSPORT. It is Fight Night. I'm Adam Catterall. No relation, by the way, even though people do think that he is my nephew or something like that. No. Spencer Oliver alongside me as always. And it's always good to have Jack Catterall and Sam Jones very kindly giving up a bit of time on a Saturday night to come and join us on the programme. Jack, I'll come to you first. How are you, mate? You good?
Yep, very good, thank you. Very good.
Jack, how you doing, mate?
All good, top one.
How was was it warm weather training or was it family holiday in the Middle East?
It was a bit of both. We was out there. We had a bit of cold weather at home, so a couple of us, Jamie, a couple of lads and girls in the gym, we went out there for a week or two. Bit of training, bit of chilling. And we're back now. All systems go.
Bit of life, but what can't beat that life.
What's happening, Jack? Where are we at, mate? Like, you know, is it on? Is it off? Is it Saudi? Is it England? I mean, what's the news?
You know what? It's been ongoing for some time now. Last couple of months, it's been frustrating, but I'm confident now. We're in a position where hopefully over the next week we can get something announced. I've put all my faith and trust into Sam, and he's been doing a great job. And I'm doing what I can do. I'm in the gym preparing. From what I'm hearing, Taylor wants to fight. His team wants to fight. We're in the same position, so I don't think we're too far away from an announcement.
Cool. Well, he was on our show last week. We were in Liverpool with him. He said exactly what you've just said there, that he does want that fight. Let's bring your manager in, Sam. Sam, how are you? You good?
Yeah, all good. How are you guys?
Hey, Sam, how's things, mate?
Very well. Now, listen, obviously you're at the coalface here, making this deal and trying to get this fight over the line, the rematch between, obviously, Jack and Josh Taylor. What is the current state of play?
It's been excruciating, if I'm honest with you, Adam. It's been a few months now with of going backwards and forwards, and there's been a lot of it could be happening, it might not. But the bottom line is, I'm working quite closely with Josh's lawyer, Tom Grant, who he wants to fight. Look, Josh has instructed his lawyer, Tom, that he wants to fight. Jack most definitely wants to fight, and we're getting somewhere now, Adam. We are getting somewhere. We're making progress, and hopefully.
What's been the problem? What's been the problem? Because it seems, from a fan point of view, obviously people that are not involved in the conversations, it seems a bit of a no-brainer. It seems quite straightforward to be able to do. So what's been the problem?
Look, Jack's obviously... it's so hard to kind of explain and put into terms, but look,
in a nutshell, is it that the numbers don't stack up? Because that's where I'm sort of seeing
those words have been sending me crazy, Spencer, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Hearing the numbers that say
what I'm saying is both guys have got a value, right? Both guys have got a value.
For sure, the fight's got a value. And listen, it's not like downplaying Josh, because like what I always say, and I always give Josh props. Jack won't, because they don't like each other, and I know Josh doesn't like me, but Josh Taylor is a former undisputed champion, and he deserves respect, and he deserves paying with respect. But obviously, he has to come down a little bit on price, because he's coming off the back of, well, one defeat, but really two defeats. But listen, the both boys want to get paid, and we had a small talk about the fight going to the Middle East. And listen, I'm not against any fight going to the Middle East, but I just think this specific fight, needs to be in front of the UK fans. That's my opinion of the fight. And Jack and Josh were definitely Jack were prepared to take a dip in cut for that to happen. Obviously, DAZN they don't see it as a pay-per-view fight, and I believe that on any other network it probably is. It's listen, the car Jack is Jack's coming off two very good wins. Josh is the same, he's not in the best of form at the moment, we say. But if you can tell me a more realistic fight to be made like now, like you look at Eubank Benn, we don't know if that fight's gonna happen. They're gonna have to Kell Brook's gonna have to take his slippers off and he's gonna come after fight. But I'm talking about British grudge match where I'm not just exaggerating here. The boys don't like each other. They really, really don't like each other. The build-up's going to be fantastic. And in this fight, I genuinely believe you're going to get a conclusive winner inside the distance. And I genuinely believe Jack's going to stop him. I heard your interview the other week, Spencer, saying that, Josh is gonna beat Jack. But listen, it's opinions that matter.
Absolutely.
It's opinions that matter. And everyone's entitled to opinion. And I'm happy you've got that opinion. Because when Jack does stop him, everyone's going to give Jack his props. And I don't want to ramble on too much about it, but I don't want Josh Taylor's career to be based on the fact that someone who's won all those belts, this is me speaking on behalf of Josh Taylor as well. I'm doing him a favour putting this fight together. Because he doesn't want to walk down the street and people say, fight Jack Catterall, he got robbed. He doesn't deserve that, and Jack Catterall doesn't deserve to be walking, running his daily errands and being told you got robbed. The fight needs to happen.
But the way
the
way Jack won that last fight, 9 of the 12 rounds, the fight has to happen again, though, doesn't it? From Josh Taylor's point of view, because it was so conclusive the first one in Jack Catterall's favour. That Josh has to go over old ground.
Yeah, but he said that on the show with us last week,
yeah.
didn't he? Josh said that. Josh, to his credit, last week in Liverpool, said all the things that you're saying, Sam, so he's on board. One question I've got for yourself and Jack in particular. Josh has spoken about moving up from 140. Obviously, you're at 140, Jack. What is the situation regarding weight of this particular fight?
You know, for me, he's talked about going up before he fought Lopez, and I spoke to Sam and I said, look, I'm comfortable fighting him, whether it's at a catch weight, even at 147, it doesn't matter to me. It's it become quite personal over the last year, and I'm happy to get it on. It doesn't matter the weight. I believe Josh has now said he wants to fight at 140, which is fine. We proposed even to meet at a catch weight, so for me, it's just about getting the fight done.
And location? I know that obviously Sam's just alluded to the fact that wanting to do it in the UK. Josh said the exact same thing last week. The original one was obviously in Scotland. Would you go back up there?
You know what? It's not ideal, and I believe I kind of earned me right to say we don't have to go back to Scotland. I think we should meet in a neutral venue. That's still to be decided, but pick a venue, anything outside of the Hydro, and I'm happy to be there.
Is Saudi Arabia still in the running?
Sam?
Spencer, I want like what I said there.
Yeah.
I would love Jack to fight in Saudi Arabia, as anybody would. Jack wants to fight. But this particular fight, I believe, deserves to be staged whilst all these big fights are taking place in Saudi Arabia. I believe this fight, the British boxing fans deserve it, and they deserve it in the UK, and that is the main reason why I'm working literally round the clock to try and get this done. I'm not joking. I've been in boxing nearly 10 years. This is the hardest I've ever pushed and worked for a fight to happen, and I'm confident we're going to get it done. I'm honestly, and it's going to be like a fantastic event. It's going to be a great build-up. It's going to be spiteful, nasty. It's going to have everything we all love as fans involved in this fight. And when it comes to the weight, we can't give away too much, but like we've been, Jack's very, very easy like to work with. Like he's almost like too easy. He said to I literally came off the phone. I'll give you an example. I was on the phone call today, and Jack said, Josh can anywhere in England, Josh can pick the venue. He can hand pick the venue where we go, and we'll see you there on the specific date.
Just listen, it's all good to hear, and hopefully we're all going in the right direction of getting this fight on, because it makes an awful lot of sense for the fans. I just want to talk about you and your career now, Jack, and obviously Sam, who's managing that going forward. I felt that you were, in the aftermath of the Taylor fight, I thought that you were harshly dealt with by all the sanctioning bodies. Obviously, you were highly ranked with the WBO, and I know that was for the Undisputed Championship. So I expected, given the way that fight played out, that you would be propelled straight back in, eliminators, or whatever it may be. And you seem to be mugged off a little bit by those sanctioning bodies. You've been presented recently with an opportunity to fight an eliminator going down the IBF route. Both of you, if you could just talk to us about why that is not going to come to fruition and why we're going down this route with Josh instead.
You know what it is, Adam? This fight that we've just been talking about, that we've been working on for some months now. Over the last couple of weeks, we've made progress. It's a fight that both me and Josh want to happen, want to make. And that fight took precedence for me. It's more personal. It's a big fight. It's a big domestic fight. And of course, I want to be world champion and challenge for the world titles. But for me, I'm sick of getting up and going to the gym and, like Sam said, going about my daily errands and being asked about this fight. And when I found out there was a chance of it getting made, I've instructed Sam and my promotional team to push and make this fight happen.
That's fair. That's fair. And with all due, listen, I know that obviously a fight with Richardson Hitchens would have propelled and made you the IBF #1, but nobody knows when that would be called. A fight with Josh Taylor, a conclusive victory over the guy that was absolute the guy at 140, puts you in the mix with a conversation for the likes of the Teofimo Lopez's, the Devin Haney's, those types of characters going forward. Listen, I know that obviously Sam's in charge of the negotiations. I hope it comes to fruition because I think a lot of fight fans are actually invested in this, as Sam alluded to a month or two ago regarding the grudge match between the pair of you. Josh was speaking that he wanted it last week. You're speaking like you wanted it this week. Have you got an ideal date of when you would like to get this done? Are we talking pre-summer?
Jack said in the garden tomorrow.
Well, he definitely deserves that opportunity, mate, without a doubt, after that last contest. So, look, let's hope we see that fight again. Yeah, we really look forward to that.
Spence, Adam, thank you.
Listen, top man, thank you very much for being on the programme. Sam, thank you very much for your time as well, my man.
Nice one, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate you. Listen, it's a fight that every fight, as Sam alluded to there, you know, you've got the narrative. Controversy always brings cash. Hopefully the fans come out, they buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And these boys do get recompense well. We want all fighters to get recompense well, but more importantly, we want that fight to take place. Two fantastic fighters.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, it's been nearly 2 years in the making, this rematch now. You know, you felt that should have happened within the 6 months, really. You know, Jack Catterall deserved that, if I'm totally honest. And both guys, you know, went sort of different directions. And let's hope that he gets that opportunity. Be interesting to see where that fight lands, actually, because I was speaking to Simon Jordan about that, and he said that he's got inside information, like the guy said there, that Josh Taylor will make 140. And I said, I think he's outgrown 140.
Do you think?
I think he's outgrown 140. I really do. I think that he's just too big for 140 for me. Maybe. I think that...
It'd be interesting to see if he does do it, because on the scales...
That would go heavily in Catterall's favour at 140. I think anything above that, you start, like I said to you, like, that's why I'm saying, look, he knows what it is now, Taylor, and you go, I think the higher the weight, the more advantage that is for Josh Taylor, definitely. I think that 140 then, you know, is sort of like a different fight for me. It's interesting.
I hope they make it. I
really do.
I really do. Well, when they do make it, if they do make it, we'll keep you across it here on talkSPORT. Great to hear from Jack Catterall and Sam Jones there. We've got Terry. Listen, the guests are coming thick and fast here, man. I'm losing track of how many amazing guests that we're getting up on the show. Thank you very much so far for tuning in to us here on Fight Night. Terry Harper is attempting to become world champion at welterweight. She did it at 154. Can she go down to 147, take on Sandy Ryan, and can she take her belt? Well, we're going to find out in the next couple of months. She's going to talk about it next here on Fight Night.
Fight Night with Adam Catterall on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
She is a builder, different from the rest. Diamonds on her finger and she always looks her best. She is a gangster with 100 mile stare. When she walks, her feet don't touch a floor. She is a builder.
Oh, you hear that tune? You only think of one person, don't you? In boxing, it is of course the belter herself, Terry Harper, who very kindly has given up a little bit of time on a Saturday to come and join myself and Spencer to talk about her upcoming world title efforts. 23rd of March, it is all going down in Sheffield. Terry Harper taking on Sandy Ryan. Terry, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hiya.
Hey,
I'm really
Terry,
good,
how's
thank you.
things?
Hiya, all good, thank you.
Great to have you back on the programme.
Yeah.
I want to discuss the step down in weight because, with all due respect, you've gone to 154, looked an absolute $1 million. You're rocking and rolling with the very best to ever do it, and now you're deciding, go on then, I'll have a little bit of a crack at 147. What's the decision behind it? Is it just a case of that's where the opportunity is?
Yeah, definitely. That's the reason why we went up to 154 in the first place. Main reason, just wanting to be world champion again, the opportunity to fight Hannah Rankin. So I went on and did that, won the world title there, and obviously a few fights up at this weight. And then the opportunity came up for the 147 belt, and it's a weight that's a lot more comfortable for me. And I was getting in the ring with these bigger girls, and I could tell on the night that I'm not a 254 pounder, but the opportunity was there, so that's the reason why 154.
I mean, female boxing really has evolved over the last couple of years, hasn't it? Like, I mean, you know, you girls, we saw that great fight last weekend, and Natasha Jonas and Michaela Mayer, and we saw, you know, they both left it all in the ring, and that's what you women are doing right now. And this is another great fight, an all-British fight. Sandy Ryan is a good fighter as well. You know, she's coming off that controversial draw to Jessica McCaskill. I mean, great fight, this one.
Yeah, I honestly props to Sandy for giving me the opportunity, and I know she was wanting the McCaskill rematch and stuff, but that's not materialised. So I feel very lucky to be in this position, and it's a chance for me to become freeweight world champion, and I get to do that in front of my home crowd. So what more could I want or ask for, really? What
did you make of the fight that she had with McCaskill? I mean, listen, I'll be open and honest. I thought that she won. I know that it was a bit controversial on the scorecards. What did you make of it?
Yeah, Sandy winning, clear, really. It's I think it's one of the worst robberies I've seen, and I did feel gutted for her because obviously you put a lot of time and effort. Sandy's really dedicated to the sport. You can see now that she's out in Vegas training and like away from family and friends, and I think that just shows a level of commitment to be the best. So. But again, I think it's a great fight that Matchroom put on, and I feel like it's going to bring the best versions of us both out on the night.
When you started this crazy journey, Terry, now you just mentioned it there, the opportunity to become a 3-weight world champion. That's like Hall of Fame type stuff, getting into the multiple weight world championship status. Did you ever think that? Listen, obviously the dream's to become world champion, of course, but a multi-weight, a 3-weight world champion.
Oh, honestly, never in a million years. I was just loving, obviously, when I first turned over, I was loving just being back boxing and being on the small old shows at Doncaster Dome. I loved it so much, and then I just felt like everything just like snowballed, and career skyrocketed so quickly, and I just feel like now it's my last couple of fights. I've been kind of disappointed with my performance and stuff, and I'm really wanting. For me, I said this next fight, it's not about winning, losing, drawing, whatever happens. I just want to be going out there and being happy with myself and my own performance, and I think that's the biggest thing for me.
I mean, it is a huge fight for you, and again, a big opportunity against Sandy Ryan. What are we expecting? What are you expecting from Sandy?
So I've sparred Sandy a few times, and obviously Sandy's she's big, she's strong. I feel like it's one of these fights where I can't let Sandy get into a rhythm and be in charge. Really, I've got to upset that and really put the pressure on him. And again, that's for me then to be working on in training camp is my pressure and just being relentless.
Listen, we're looking forward to it. Before I let you go, obviously the big talking point this week has been the scoring of last weekend's fight, which coincidentally is in your weight division. You might go on to fight one of these as a unification. Should you come through the fight with Sandy Ryan? What did you make of last weekend? One as a fight, and two when the scores were read out.
Obviously, when the fight first started, the first 2 rounds, I thought Jonas started really well and she was making Maya fall short, and I thought Maya looked heavy on her feet, and straight away I thought this weight's going to be too much for her. But I think after those first 2 rounds, Maya just got used to the southpaw stance and really started to feel comfortable, and she really put the pressure on Jonas. And personally, I believe Maya won. And I was just good. I feel like she's just been robbed again a chance of becoming world champion, and yeah, it's crazy.
Where's your stance on 3-minute rounds for elite world title female fights?
So I like the 2 minutes. I think it's explosive, it's exciting. One thing I have said before, though, I do believe 12 rounds should be introduced to world title fights for females, at least as a starting point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Terry, I'm with you actually. I think that why dilute it if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think that
Would you go to 12-2, Spence?
12-2 is definitely that's the way forward. I think moving it from 10 to 12, but the 2-minute rounds, the girls go all in, they roll the dice, and that's why you're getting great fight after great fight. And I think that if you go over that 3-minute rounds, then the extra minute doesn't sound like a lot to people that don't know boxing and have not been in the ring before. But that last minute, man, is an absolute killer, and that will change the pace of the fights, and you won't get the excitement that we're getting right now.
Fair enough. Listen, Terry, obviously getting the opportunity to do this in Yorkshire. Dalton's on there as well. We've had him on the show a little earlier on. The Yorkshire crowd are going to come out in full force on the 23rd, aren't they?
Yeah, it's always a great night at Sheffield, and sometimes I wish I could cut myself in half and be part of the crowd and enjoy the night. But it's exciting, and I'm excited to get back out there in front of the home crowd and put on a good performance.
Well, it's a fantastic piece of matchmaking. Really looking forward to it. You and Sandy Ryan absolutely is designed for for us, entertainment. For you in there, obviously doing the work, it might not necessarily be too entertaining whilst you're going about it, but hopefully you can look back at it and, as you rightfully just said there, be proud of what you put into that fight. We're looking forward to it. Have a great camp, nice and safe, and we hopefully will see you in that ring on the 23rd of March.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Top stuff. There you go. Terry Harper, the 2-weight world champion, down now to 147. Can she make it 3-weight world champion? She's taking on Sandy Ryan. As I said, that is going to be some fight. Do stick around. We've got a preview of Jaime Munguia and John Ryder still to come on the show. It's action-packed from start to finish on a Saturday night.
on 1089 and 1053 medium wave. On your mobile and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.
Talk Sport.
With the latest headlines, I'm Jeremy Leeburn. The FA Cup has sprinkled its magic once again with a sixth tier, Maidstone producing a huge fourth-round upset. They beat Ipswich 2-1, who are some 96 places above them in the league to reach the last 16. In talkSPORT's live lunchtime commentary yesterday, here's Maidstone boss George Ellacobi.
This was a historic occasion for Maidstone United Football Club, for our group of players, our supporters, but more so for our community.
Celebrations were tempered, however, as a Maidstone fan fell from the top tier of the stand while celebrating his side's opening goal. We understand he's not been seriously hurt, thankfully, and Ipswich say a full investigation's been launched. To last night's live commentary here on talkSPORT.
Kieran Trippier to take the corner, right-footed, fired in with pace. Bowman's initial effort was saved, and it's bundled over the line from close range for two.
Jim Proudfoot describing Dan Burn's goal there, rubber-stamping Newcastle's place in the fifth round with a 2-0 win away at Fulham. Earlier yesterday, Brighton, Leicester and Luton all got through their fourth-round ties. Some breaking news overnight, and Xavi has followed in Jurgen Klopp's footsteps by announcing that he'll step down as Barcelona head coach at the end of the season. To cricket, and England have a very slim chance of winning the first test with India. Ben Stokes' side closed day 3 in Hyderabad on 316 for 6 in their second innings. That's a lead of 126. A reminder that there's live commentary of day 4 over on talkSPORT 2 from 3:30 tomorrow morning. And teenage dart sensation Luke Littler has missed out on a back-to-back tournament wins after he lost 8-6 to Michael van Gerwen in the final of the Dutch Masters. 17-year-old Littler had won the Bahrain Masters last weekend.
talkSPORT News.
A major incident's been declared in Liverpool city centre this after a huge fire broke out at a high-rise building there yesterday afternoon. And Houthi military says it's behind an attack on a UK-operated oil tanker in the Gulf of Aden, which caught fire.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep your car safe this winter. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com for tyres, MOTs and batteries, so you can drive away happy every time.
Dry and clear for most areas tonight. Windy with light rain possible, though, in the northwest.
This is it. The time has come.
Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
Push him down.
With Adam Catterall.
You're better than that.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Fight Night on talkSPORT, Saturday evening. Hope you are well. Yes, we are going to talk about scorecards from last week. We're going to break it down and get stuck into Jonas versus Mayer, which you heard live on talkSPORT. We're also going to delve into the small hall. That's right. How is everything that is happening in Saudi Arabia going to affect the small hall? How is it going to affect fights on UK soil in 2024? Izzy Asif is going to be joining us, the man from GBM Sports. He's got a show coming up, which is live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel on 9th of February. He's got a European title on there. Interesting stuff. We'll shed some light on that very, very shortly, and we'll also give you a preview of next weekend's Batsi versus Aziz live on talkSPORT. You're listening to Fight Night. Now then. You will have seen a bit of news this week that's... I mean, this is great because every single fight fan at the moment seems to be getting what they want. We've been calling... I mean, I've lost count how many years we've been calling for the best against the best, the undisputed fights. And over the last 4 months, and it's going to obviously go right through till March, so for over a 6-month period, Turki Al-Sheikh and the people that he's working with in Saudi Arabia have delivered big time for fight fans. We are getting the first undisputed heavyweight world championship fight in 25 years next month. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder on the same card. Okay, not in the same ring, but on the same card. And we're getting rumours now that Artur Beterbiev, who was in action against Callum Smith, is going to be taking on Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight world championship. Now, the thing that I wanted to highlight regarding that is because the majority of the conversation in and around Saudi Arabia, their involvement in boxing, is Riyadh season. Now, Riyadh season, as we were told, starts in October, and we had the big showcase, didn't we, with Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. That kicked off the season. Then you have a period of time where you have concerts, you have all different things regarding culture and tourism during that period, with sporting events as well. December 23rd, Spence was out there for Anthony Joshua and Otto Varlin and the rest of that card. We're getting the undisputed fight, as I've just said, which is part of Riyadh season. And to close Riyadh season, we're getting Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Now, when all this was coming to fruition, we're all dead excited, we're getting the fights. But I thought, maybe this is naive of me, I don't know, but I was thinking, right, so boxing's going to be in Saudi Arabia for Riyadh season every single year, October through to March, and then we'll get it back here in the UK. Well, I don't know whether that is going to be the case anymore, because we're hearing talk that Bivol and Beterbiev are going to be June the 1st in Saudi Arabia. I obviously covered the UFC. The UFC have had their date from March pushed back to the back end of June. So outside of Riyadh season, my point is that Saudi Arabia are doing fight events outside of those dates. They're continuing it through those summer months. How does this affect shows on British soil over the next 12 to 24 months? Because the demand from Saudi Arabia and Turkey al-Sheikh is going to be, I want the best guys over here. They're not going to be fighting here in the UK.
So, yeah, I think that what we lose is stadium fights, maybe big arena fights. Like your Dan Aziz, Joshua Batsi, that sort of caliber of fight. Anthony Yard, throw him in the mix. But I think they start filtering over into Saudi Arabia. I don't think it affects our small hall shows. If I'm totally honest, the grassroots, I don't think it'll affect the grassroots, because I think the interest from Turkey al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia and their investment in the sport is the big names of boxing. So obviously, super fights, and I don't think that changes. But I know what you're saying, Adam, is that it's gone from Riyadh season to all through the year. All through the year, because they're talking March, then they're talking June, then they're talking one in the autumn, then you're going to go December again. Best boxing, the best. When you think about it, I don't think it's going to affect the small hall stuff, though.
No, when you think about it and you take a step back, we've kind of been spoiled, haven't we? Since Anthony Joshua came out of the Olympics in 2012, and then we had this boom, and obviously we had Froch Groves, which was the first big stadium fight, and then we had a plethora of stadium fights, didn't we? And obviously Anthony Joshua kind of led that way. Tyson Fury's been involved in a few. We had Bellew obviously up at Goodison Park, Kell Brook, all over the place. And we had this 10, 11, 12-year period where it was the norm. All the big fights, boxing's booming in the UK, all the big fights are happening here. But if you take a step back away from that, and you think traditionally, like when I was a kid, the big fights, the monster fights. Lennox Lewis's all these big ones were in America.
Yeah.
Nazim Ahmed had to go to America when he was fighting Kevin Johnson. Ricky Hatton went to America for Floyd, went to America for Pacquiao. Don't get me wrong, we had good ones here. Calzaghe and Lacey was here in the UK, and obviously Ricky had his moment with Kosciuszko. We still had them in the arenas here, didn't we? But what you would class as the super duper fights were never really on British. So not when I were a kid anyway, coming through.
Vegas was the Mecca.
Yeah, Vegas, New York, those types of places. So it seems now that we're kind of reverting back to the old school way, the 1990s way of the super fights happening. It's just that it's not happening in America. It's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
So those super fights, I think, maybe are going to be a little bit fewer and far between when it comes to UK. I still think we might get a stadium fight with Wood Warrington if they can get that rematch on. That seems like it might be a Nottingham Forest ground type of thing. But like you've just said, I think it's going to be of a certain level, not the super fights, but there's a real opportunity here for the small hall to start to flourish. If we can start mopping up European title fights, British title fights, English title fights. That was the concern for me, you know, regarding the first one, actually, wasn't it? When the British Boxing Board of Control sanctioned a British title fight to take place in Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
That was the thing that alarmed me a little bit, because I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that surely should be happening here in the UK. I don't want to see too many of them over there.
Understood. But do you know what we got to recognise about Saudi Arabia and, you know, their investment in boxing and in sport as well is that, you know, it is prize fighting and, you know, these guys get in the ring and they put their lives on the line and they want to, you know, they want big money. So the ones that do get the fights out there, you know, well, then good luck to them because that's what the game's all about. You know, it's been too long where fighters are not getting enough money. You know, I mean, it's improved immensely over the years. You go back in the day when they were really getting nothing. But like, I just think it's good for, you know, it's good for the boxing and they're taking the politics out of it because you're getting the fights that we've, you know, craved to see for so long. You know, we've got the undisputed fight there. His first fight since 1999, Evander Holyfield, you know, Lennox Lewis, and you go back all that way and you've been waiting for this undisputed. And the reason the fight has happened, and Adam, you know all about this, like the politics of the sport. When we talk about the politics of the sport, we talk about different TV networks, broadcasters.
Money gets rid of all that, mate.
Pay-per-view splits. He wants 60%. He wants 65%. And the fight's not happening for that reason. Well, we know what Saudi Arabians do. They're going, Saudi Arabia are going, right, this is what you're getting. This is what you're getting. They don't know what they're getting, but it's such substantial amount, they can't turn it down.
What will be the biggest fight on British soil this year, do you think?
Oh, that's a tough question. Caught me off there.
At the moment, it's looking like, I mean, would you class Bellew Smith React poor? It's a world title fight.
It's a big, it's a big fight. I mean, you got Aziz Batsi next week. That's a big all British fight.
Where's the monster world title fight? Is there going to be one? If they run Taylor Cameron back,
yeah.
That you would think that would happen on British soil, British or Irish soil.
Yeah, Irish soil. I believe that'll happen. Yeah. It's a tough question.
It is hard.
It's a very tough question. But like, it's a very tough question
because the big uns are going over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a little bit of food for thought. Of listen, right now we're getting what we want. We're getting fights that we want. One man is making it all tick, isn't he? He's talking the talk, and right now he's walking the walk. And I don't think there's any boxing fan out there that is going to begrudge seeing the fights that they want to see. How does it look in 12 months, 24 months?
Do you know what? Look at this heavyweight division and the fights that we've been craving to see that we haven't seen, like Joshua and Fury and all that. You know, the fights that we've always wanted to see. They're going to happen now, and I think that is the beauty of it, because I think we was going to go through an era where you didn't get the best boxing, the best because of the politics of the sport, and that's what we've got now. Eras create legacies, and I think that's what we're going to get with these guys.
Do you know what I liked as well, just finally on this, regarding the conversation that I saw our colleague Adi Oladipo do with Turki El-Sheikh? He was talking about, listen, the winner of Fury, Usyk, versus the winner of AJ versus Ngannou.
Yeah,
right?
Forget the rematch.
Listen, as a fight fan, that makes an awful lot of sense.
Absolutely.
But then you start hearing about rematch clauses and all this type of stuff. This fella don't care about rematch clauses.
No.
He's got enough money to pay them rematch clauses out of the way. That is music to my ears. Stick the rematch clauses in the bin. If the fight's brilliant, we'll have a rematch. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Don't need a rematch. Let's have a couple of semi-finals and a final, ladies and gentlemen, and find out who the baddest man on the planet is, shall we?
Yep.
And fingers crossed in 2024, we are going to find that information out. Don't go anywhere, because we alluded on to the fact about the small hole situation. We've got a young man here who's making some serious moves on the small hole scene. Izzy Asif is going to be on the show next, going to talk about his upcoming show, which you can hear on talkSPORT.
Hey, mate, come over here. Come over here. You're looking for a bit of sport on the side, yeah? Try talkSPORT 2. They got loads of live football, cricket, rugby, boxing and all the best talkSPORT documentaries. Hit talkSPORT 2 on DAB, on the app and on your smart speaker. It's your other national sports radio station. What are you waiting for?
Go the distance with Fight Night.
Oh, he's got down!
On talkSPORT.
That's how winning is done.
The home of boxing.
You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall. Spencer Oliver is alongside me. And on the 9th of February at the Park Community Arena in Sheffield, Spencer will be... Are you alongside Dom McGuinness on this night?
I'm alongside Mr. Dom McGuinness, yep, the full talkSPORT commentary team live on their YouTube channel. It's a great show, this. Great show. I'm loving what Izzy's doing, what he's setting out to achieve.
Yeah.
I know the future looks great. 8 shows he's talking about doing this year. And, huge opportunity. I mean, European title fights, English title fights. It doesn't get better than that.
What Spencer's referring to there, you can watch along on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. GBM Sports are putting on an event in Sheffield. They've done a couple with us now. I've observed. Been on the outside, watching what
I've been in the heart of it, mate.
I know you have. I've been watching what's been going on, and I kind of like the cut of the jib of Izzy Asif, who is the man behind that. And very kindly, he's given up a bit of time to come and join us. Izzy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey guys, you all right?
Izzy, how are you, my man?
Yes, good mate. Good. Enjoying the cold night in Yorkshire.
All night, sir. Even in the summer, they're cold in Yorkshire, aren't they, mate?
What time are you guys on? What time is it in London?
Hey, get out. Listen, what we've just been speaking about, obviously, the influence now of Saudi Arabia and how that's affecting the big fights and where the big fights are going for British fight fans. And we were kind of saying there's never been, especially in the last 10 years, there's never been more of an important time for the small hole show to deliver for what we would class as the proper boxing fan. And as I look at your shows, the ones that you've done with talkSPORT recently, I think you come at, from a matchmaking point of view, you come at it from a, listen, we're trying to make 50-50 fights. You want to go to these arenas not knowing who's actually going to win, which I think is really, really important for small hole fights. And as well as that, if you can start to snaffle really prominent titles. I hate these alphabet belts, mate, but I like prominent titles, proper ones, like English title fights, British title fights, Commonwealth title fights, European title fights. If you start to sniff a few of them into your shows, then all of a sudden you've got a real prominent product. And that, now, coming up with this on February the 9th, European title fight, English title fight, some good up-and-coming prospects in 50-50s, having a little bit of a risk, 4-0s against 5-0s. Mate, you seem to be ticking a few boxes here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on anyway, Adam and Spence. Hope you do well. Yeah, Adam, I actually know exactly what the consumer wants. I've been in this game for 20 odd years. I've been a fighter, I've been a fan, I've been a coach, I've been a manager, now I'm a promoter. I've been to every single stage of it. So I understand exactly what guys want, and it's about time we really give the fans out there what they want, 50-50 fights, proper title fight on. And me as a promoter, Adam, I don't want to go to shows thinking, I know which way this is going to go. I want to be on the edge. I want to get in, even though I'm promoting the show and I'm financially, involved in it, and I've got money at stake. I want to enjoy the boxing, and this is what we do when we're matching them up. We've got a great matchmaking team at the moment. Got a good set of lads working amongst us, and we want to really cause some noise this year. And February the 9th, you're going to see proper fights. And I've told my lads, if they don't turn up on the night, they get beat. As simple as that. And we're in the entertainment business, and financially things are hard out there. So we want to make sure when the consumer pays, they get value for the money.
Yeah, Izzy, I think that talkSPORT recognised exactly what you were doing on this small hall shows. You're bringing something. You've got a great vision. I mean, what is the roadmap for you over the next 12 months? How many shows are you planning on doing? And whereabouts are you planning on doing them all? Are you going to stay in Sheffield? Are you going up and down the country?
Yeah, Spence, I'll answer that, but I've heard you a couple of times mention small hall. See, for me, if the kind of show we got on February 9th were broadcast on a Sky or another platform, it wouldn't be far off a TV channel. Nobody would raise their eyebrows. Just because we haven't got a platform at the moment, we've got talkSPORT, which for me is an unbelievable deal and a great platform where we're going to put our show on. But you mentioned a few times, so did Adam, about small hall. See, there's one word we don't use at GBM Sports, that's small hall. that almost gives us an inferior kind of complex. We put great fights on, great titles on, and if you didn't know anything else, you watched it on talkSPORT next week, you'll think, well, this is warrants a TV channel, warrants a big show kind of feel. But answering what you said, Spence, sorry, I'm not having a go.
Yeah, no, sorry, no. Let me rephrase that, mate. Then I'll say grassroots stuff. You know, like this is about opportunity, and that's pretty much where you're at. Like that, I understand your vision where you're going, Izzy, and where you started at, and when I've seen the shows growing as well. So yeah, I'll take that back, Small, mate. You're right there.
Yeah. We don't use that. It just kind of go deaf when you said that. And then it just goes, So you were mentioning about, sorry, Spence, what was you talking about?
Are you taking it around the country, is it? Because I think the key thing is obviously having local guys and girls in front of the local fans, isn't it? So is there an opportunity to take this around the country?
Of course, yeah. Look, I'm a proud Sheffield promoter, lived here all my life, really, got strong Yorkshire roots, but we want to spread all over the country. I don't want to be known as the best promoter in Yorkshire. I want to put shows in Midlands, London, Newcastle, Lancashire, all over, really spread our brand and give fighters opportunities where they don't have to sell tickets, because a lot of the lads are on ticket deals or, it's not really earning much. Give them opportunity to go to London and showcase what they've got, but in the home corner. So we support them and financially for them to go out there. And that's a big kind of push for GBM Sports. As you know, we've got a show February the 9th. We've got in Sheffield, March the 9th in Coventry. Yeah. April, we're going to London. May, we're going to go to Leeds. We're really going to go all out, singing and dancing, and really, really, really roll the dice out this year. And that's the plan. And spread it, and let's sign some fighters out there, maybe who don't get the bigger promoters who are taking them on at the moment. Maybe the bigger promoters are focusing so much on the big money in Saudi. Izzy Asif might be sneaking in there and putting some real shows on in the UK and get them British fans what they deserve.
I think there's an opportunity, mate, and I'm excited. Listen, I'm looking at this card that you've got in Sheffield, mate, and to have a European title fight on there with Thomas Asomba defending against Eli Kunki, mate, I can't moan at that. And you've got an English super bantamweight title on there as well, with Stevie Levy taking on Dorota Norek as well, and a lot of local talent too. Obviously,
Shaquille Thompson's a great prospect,
mate,
as well.
50-50 fights, proper fights,
Yeah, look, Eli Kunki and Thomas Asomba, it's a real, genuine 50-50. They're both former Olympians. So Thomas Asomba was in 2012 Olympics. Eli Kunki's a 2016 Olympic. Stevie Lee against Tora Nortek's proper fight where a lot of people think Stevie's up against it. Shaquille Thompson, Gino Cantes, another one. Frak Ali, Kevin Trana, they all seriously fights where the home side could lose. And that's what I want, and that's what the fans want, and that's what viewers on talkSPORT next week will get. Real action. Our production is as good as anybody in the country, and I'm talking anybody in the country. And Spencer will know that. Anybody watching our shows, been to our shows, there's not many who matches up and down the country. This is why you get value at GBM Sports. And now having talkSPORT on board next week, the fans can really see what all the hype is all about.
Absolutely. Listen, real 50-50 fights.
Top man, Izzy. Thank you very much for being on the show, mate. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Well done, Izzy.
Izzy Asif from GBM Sports. Spencer's going to be there on Friday the 9th. If you can't get to Sheffield, then you will be able to watch it live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. I promise you, that is as good as it gets when it comes to matchmaking. It's top class, that. Really good stuff. Stick around, because we're going to go through some scorecards from last weekend next.